like that, Kathy Engelbert, the WNBA, the team owners, the Players Association, in the split of an instance, all of it can change. In a split instance, all of it can change. If this injury does anything, it should be a wake-up call to the WNBA, the Players Association, the team owners, that just like that, all this fanfare, all this interest, all this newfound attention on the league can disappear overnight.
The WNBA figured they could let Caitlyn Clark take hits night after night, and fans would keep cheering like it was a school pep rally. But surprise, after she got body-checked like it was the NHL Finals, fans didn't just get upset. They're pushing back hard, boycotting like someone stole their Black Friday deals. The league may have wanted more physicality, but now it's dealing with a full-blown protest. Turns out, chasing equality shouldn't come at the cost of bulldozing the biggest draw in the game. Buckle up. This story's just getting started.
It was just announced that Caitlyn Clark will be out a minimum of 2 weeks with a quad injury. Could this injury have been prevented? Can the Indiana Fever win without her? And what does this mean for the WNBA?
Oh, the WNBA thought this season would be smooth and drama-free? That's cute, because just when everything was clicking, ratings climbing, jerseys selling out, and every Fever game feeling like a Taylor Swift tour stop, boom, Caitlyn Clark's team flipped the script. Now she's benched. Fans are losing it like gravity just gave out. And behind the scenes, the WNBA is scrambling while putting on its best everything's fine face. Spoiler alert, it's not.
Get in the back. We know Caitlyn Clark was lost yesterday to an injury for at least 2 weeks. Now, the thing about it is they're going to reevaluate in 2 weeks. And of course, man, these teams, I told you earlier, these WNBA franchises that moved games like the Chicago Sky to the, United Arena, you're screwed. You're done. You're cooked. Nobody is going to show up to this thing. Chicago Sky can't sell out their own 9,000-something seat arena like it is. They couldn't when they were kind of decent.
2 weeks. That's how long Caitlyn Clark is out with a strained quadriceps. Not a tear, not a break, just enough to turn the league narrative on its head. Her thigh basically requested some paid time off. And now the Fever's franchise star is parked on the bench while the WNBA scrambles to keep the spotlight from slipping. And the reactions? Oh, they've been subtle. If by subtle you mean a full-blown public meltdown.
Oh my God, guys, breaking news. Caitlyn Clark is hurt. I didn't believe it when I saw it myself. She's injured. She has a quad injury, a left quad injury. It's a quadriceps strain. And the team announced today, about 2 hours ago, she's going to be out 2 weeks at the minimum. 2 weeks. Without Caitlyn Clark, this team is finished.
Clark's fans, arguably the most intense, merch-wearing, Twitter-rallying supporters since the Michael Jordan era, are already staging emotional walkouts. A minor injury has somehow sparked a full-blown revolution. "I'm done watching until Clark returns," they cry. "The league's not worth it without her." Boycott the WNBA. You'd think the WNBA had personally slapped their grandma and kidnapped their dog. Meanwhile, the rest of the league's players are waving like, "Hey, we're still here," only to be met with the internet's cold reply, "Not now, sweetie."
If it's the latter, it could mean that Caitlyn Clark could potentially miss the rest of the season. This 2-week timetable that people are running with, that's just when Caitlyn Clark is going to be reevaluated. As of now, she will be reevaluated on June 9th. That does not mean, and it's highly unlikely, that June 9th or shortly thereafter is when Caitlyn Clark is cleared to return.
And Indiana? They're getting a crash course in life without their golden goose. The Caitlyn Clark show is on pause, and now it's up to Aaliyah Boston and Kelsey Mitchell to keep the whole operation from collapsing. Mitchell's out there playing like she's got 3 lungs, Boston's grabbing boards like she's battling ghosts, and Coach Stephanie White is redrawing plays like it's the Hunger Games. Yet somehow, the Fever might just stay afloat. Why? Because their upcoming opponents have been about as intimidating as lukewarm soup. No offense, Chicago Sky. Okay, maybe a little offense.
There's no way. Every team's going to come at them and try to take them out, especially without Caitlyn. They're going to lose some games here, and that's going to set them back. It's really hard to believe this, but yeah, She's out. There's no other details. When did this happen? Could have happened in this game. We're not sure. Most likely at a practice yesterday. She's out for 2 weeks, man.
But let's be honest, the most entertaining part of the WNBA right now isn't the scoreboard, the highlight reels, or even the basketball. It's watching the league try to keep the energy alive when the actual life of the party, Caitlyn Clark, is suddenly benched. Before the injury, Clark wasn't just in the MVP race. She was the race. Sure, some folks tried to downplay it, saying she was just a standout rookie, but that's like calling Beyoncé decent at singing. Please, Caitlyn wasn't just putting up stats. She was hauling an entire franchise back into relevance like a one-woman rescue squad. Ratings exploded, sellouts everywhere, celebs shouting her out, fans screaming her name, and nosebleeds packed with glitter glue homemade jerseys. She didn't just bring hype, she rewired the WNBA's algorithm. Record views, packed arenas, merch flying like Taylor Swift tickets. And now that the Queen's temporarily off the board, everyone's pretending the MVP race is wide open, like the rest of the league wasn't just spinning in her orbit 5 minutes ago. Adorable.
WNBA news. Caitlyn Clark is out for a minimum of 2 weeks with a quad strain, and our next question is, what does this mean for the Fever? So Cece is going to be missing the second Sky rematch since playing them the first weekend of the season, which is definitely a bummer, but on the bright side, this injury doesn't seem too bad, it's just some quad tightness. But fear not, Fever fans. We talked to Caitlyn earlier this month, and she doesn't seem too worried about the depth of this roster.
So I think our depth is probably what I would worry about the most. You know, if somebody doesn't have it one night, you're just going to the next person on the bench and the next person. And, you know, we're going to have to be able to find a way to use that to the best of our ability.
Caitlyn seems like she has faith in her team, but we will see how this squad performs on the court without their number one player.
Meanwhile, back in Indiana, the Fever are quietly figuring things out, and they might actually come out stronger for it. Without Clark doing absolutely everything, the rest of the squad is stepping up. And when she returns, rested, refocused, and completely fed up with all the noise, get ready. Picture Clark storming back onto the court, draining threes from the parking lot, and silencing every critic who tried to write her off after 2 weeks of quad rehab. That's not just a comeback, it's an encore. And here's the twist. If the Fever can survive this stretch, stay competitive, maybe even snag a couple of surprise wins, they're going to be a real problem. A big one, because with Clark healthy, Boston locked in, and Mitchell fired up, you're looking at a potential playoff spoiler with the momentum of a freight train. So yes, Caitlyn Clark is out, temporarily. But the WNBA? It's still rolling, maybe louder than ever. MVP debates, rising stars, fan wars, wild conspiracies, and Clark's inevitable comeback tour. It's all heating up at once.
Just as I started talking about Caitlyn Clark being in the MVP race, it is announced that she suffered a left quad injury and she is going to miss at least 2 weeks. And this is such a bummer because the Fever were off to a great start this season. Caitlyn Clark was playing out of her mind. She had already broken some records in the first 3 games, and now she's going to be sidelined for 2 weeks. We'll see how the team will hold up without her. Obviously, she's the primary ball handler, playmaker, and shot maker. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully they can sustain and just hold even at 500 or better, and she can get back and keep them in playoff contention.
So to all the fans boycotting the league until their basketball messiah returns, here's a dose of reality. Without Caitlyn, watching the WNBA feels like showing up after the headliners already left the stage. Sure, the league's full of talent, but without her, the spark's missing, the energy's flat, and the drama lukewarm at best. Go ahead, rage tweet from your Clark-themed beanbag, because right now, the WNBA isn't evolving, it's surviving. And when she returns, it won't just be basketball, it'll be the show everyone's been holding their breath for. We're stuck in this weird paradox where the games are smoother, but no one's tuning in. No more viral fouls, no more debates about whether that was a hard foul or a full-on exorcism attempt. Without Clark getting body-checked every 5 minutes, the discourse has gone quiet. And that silence? That's what's scaring the WNBA most. Because like it or not, controversy sells. As much as the league wants to spotlight basketball excellence, the numbers spiked when Caitlyn took a shot to the face, not when someone nailed a perfect backdoor cut. Let's be real. Arike Ogunbowale dropping 30 didn't break the internet, but Clark getting fouled hard? That got assault trending. The league's been living off chaos-fueled PR, and now that their chaos engine is sidelined, they're staring nervously at stat sheets like it's a credit card bill. And don't even mention the merch team. Somewhere in a warehouse, pallets of Caitlyn Clark jerseys are just sitting there like, hey, remember us? Sales dipped the moment she limped off the court, and the accountants are sweating like they just dumped their life savings into Beanie Babies. A 12-game Caitlyn Clark hiatus? That's basically the WNBA's version of an eclipse. Brief, rare, and wildly inconvenient for anyone trying to sell tickets.
Well, she's human after all, Dan. She's going to be out for at least a couple of weeks, it appears.
Yeah, you know what's interesting about Caitlyn Clark? Remember last year, she played in the Final Four. Right after that, she went immediately to the WNBA. Draft came, season started, and, didn't miss a beat. And all of a sudden, she got a little rest and comes back, gets a little banged up.
And now, fans are doing what fans do best, throwing full-blown temper tantrums like toddlers who got the wrong Happy Meal toy. Comment sections are flooded with cries of, "She should have gone to Europe," as if the logical response to a strained quad is to hop on a plane and dunk on 19-year-old Lithuanians for $5,000 a week. Brilliant, really, because nothing screams recovery like jet lag and icy gymnasiums in the Balkans. Let's unpack this "she should have gone to Europe" narrative. First off, yes, overseas pay is often better. Why? Because oligarchs don't care about salary caps or long-term league strategy. Second, yes, European fans treat their basketball queens like royalty. But Caitlyn didn't come to the WNBA for comfort. She came to conquer. And that doesn't happen from the sidelines of a Turkish league. It happens when you face down opponents who treat you like a piñata, and fans who act like they're not tracking your every move while secretly watching all your highlights. And speaking of tracking her every move, let's pour one out for the Caitlyn Clark haters. They were just hitting their stride. The hate watch routines were locked in, the tweets drafted, the memes saved, the "she's overrated" hot takes bookmarked and ready to deploy. And now, nothing. Radio silence. It's hard to hate watch someone who isn't on the court. These folks are like sitcom villains whose lead just quit mid-season, wandering aimlessly with too many opinions and nowhere to aim them.
Big news just released by the Indiana Fever. Caitlyn Clark has suffered a quad injury, and she's going to be out for a minimum of 2 weeks. Really bad news for people going to games at home hoping to see Caitlyn.
Meanwhile, Angel Reese is absolutely seizing the spotlight. She's flexing, trash-talking, and turning post-game pressers into full-on TED Talks about haters, doubters, and media bias. And here's the kicker. It's working. The drama is delicious. Every time Reese shows up in a designer outfit and drops 15 rebounds, she's reinforcing her brand. Unapologetic, unbothered, and here to dominate. Clark may have brought the fans in, but Reese is keeping the pot stirred while the queen rests. Let's not forget Clark versus. Reese was supposed to be the game of the week, the rematch, the main event, Fever vs. Caitlyn versus Angel, the ratings bonanza everyone was drooling over. But now, it's like showing up to WrestleMania and finding out The Rock stayed home. Sure, the show goes on, but it just doesn't hit the same. And don't think the league's marketing team didn't cry into their conference call when they had to scrap all those Clash of Titans promos. Now it's more like watching two rising teams try not to trip over each other's missed layups. But let's zoom out for a second. Caitlyn Clark's injury might actually be the best thing to happen to the WNBA right now. Stay with me. Why? Because it's forcing the league to prove it has more than one star. It's pushing fans to notice players they've ignored, recognize greatness that isn't trending on TikTok, and understand that Clark is just the beginning of a movement, not the whole movement.
Be a demigorgon. I was watching the WNBA. There was nothing on the TV, so I said, why do I just support women? I'm a proud feminist anyways. It was one of the worst things I've ever watched. All I saw was straight bricks. But Caitlyn Clark might be a demigorgon. That girl can hoop. I will.
We're seeing in real time the Angel Reese psychological meltdown as she's actually being forced to grasp the fact that the thing that she is best at in her life, which is basketball, Caitlyn Clark is exponentially better at than she is.
Suddenly, we're seeing clips of Kalani Copper lighting it up for the Mercury. People are remembering that Breanna Stewart is still a walking bucket. Even players like Dearica Hamby are finally getting recognition for consistent play that never goes viral. The league is now showcasing depth, talent, and actual team identity. Imagine that. And when Clark comes back, and she will, you can bet the fever around the Fever will hit a new high. If anything, this break is adding fuel to the fire. Her return won't just be a moment. It'll be an event, a resurrection, a statement. Every player who underestimated her while she was sidelined better hope she doesn't come back raining revenge threes from the clouds. The real losers here aren't the Fever, not Clark, and not even the league. The real losers are the fans who tapped out the second she hit the injury report. They missed the rise of Nafisa Collier. They missed Angel Reese evolving in real time. and they missed the chance to witness a league finally forced to grow beyond its most popular name. And that kind of missed opportunity isn't something you can just rewatch on ESPN+. The WNBA survived a week without Caitlyn Clark. Not only survived, but adapted. And in a few more games, it'll be tested again. Because when she returns, there will be zero excuses. No rookie grace period, no adjusting to pro play. Just 40 minutes of her trying to make up for lost time, torching nets, and silencing every critic who thought her injury was the end of the ride.